Hi, everybody. Are we ready? Okay. Today, I prepared a quick presentation about open source and technical writing. Those are my quick tips to skip technical interview and jump to final post and get your job offer. First, I'm Abdelrahman Ismail. I am software engineering and technical team lead. I'm also kind of content creator. I have been working in web development for more than 10 years, actually. I look young, but I'm 32, by the way. My journey, I'm Egyptian, but now I'm based in Turkey for more than 7 years. And sorry, I don't speak Turkish very well, although I stay here for 7 years, because when you are working remote and stay at home, you don't meet a lot of people. That's why I didn't practice my Turkish. It's my fault. My main stack is the TypeScript and Node.js, Vue.js, React, and Golang. I love Go, by the way. But my real story starts with my GitHub account. How many of you used open source in their project? All of us, right? All of us, of course. But how many of you contributed to an open source project or maintained an open source project? How many? We have 3, 4, 5, nice, good number, good number. So yeah, this is my story. I started contributing to open source since I started learning anything. Since 2016, I have been contributing to open source with a lot of projects. I started with Hopper, a Vue.js carousel component. Of course, there is thousands of components, but I decided to build another one. Also, I created Vert. It is a Vue component color picker. Also, there is a CSS framework. Back then, if anyone heard about Bootstrap, it was a real deal. But I decided to build my own because, yeah, I can build something better, and so on. I was learning by building stuff and put them online and get feedback from real people. And this helped me a lot, actually. I was learning deeply. I was also building community. This is the correct slide. The open source really helped me a lot during my career. Of course, I have a good portfolio. I was fixing real-world problem. I was not using libraries. I was deep diving and understand how they build. So this is give me also some technical knowledge that I needed in my career later on. Also, I won multiple prizes for Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest, for people who don't know, is open source hackathon. Happens each year on October. And it encourages people to contribute to open source projects. So I have won a couple of prizes. Also, my technical writings have more than 5,000 readers on dev.to. And also, I gain a lot of stars on GitHub. And by the way, a GitHub stars, 1 star equals 1,000 likes on Instagram. So they are big numbers. My voice, you can't hear it very well, right? Okay, I will increase my volume. Okay, now it's better, right? Of course, open source give me back pain as well because you're staying at home working, so yeah. Now, when I remember I told you I come from Egypt. I traveled from Egypt to Istanbul. It was tourist trip. I didn't plan to stay at all. But I feel love with the country. I decided to stay, but I said, okay, I will do some tourism for the first month, and I will looking for a job next month. But Hazim Khalid, when I wrote on LinkedIn, I'm available for work, he immediately called me and say, hey, Abdelrahman, we need to hire you. I saw your work on open source. I will give you an offer. I will just tell you more about the company. And yeah, and this is how I skip my technical interviews. Because, yeah, why technical interview when all my work is online? So this was a game changer, and that is why I stay in Turkey here for 7 years, because of this call from Hazem. Thanks, Hazem, for Hazem. Okay. As I said earlier, maybe a lot of people contribute to open source by creating issues, but none or few of us really fix problems in open source. I will tell you a couple of real-world stories that open source contribution and technical writing leverage my level to able to overcome those problems. So first, we had a task that we need to create PDF catalogs from HTML pages. So we have like a very big page, will contain like 100 products, and I would like to convert it to PDF so they can distribute it via WhatsApp. The thing is, the library, the main library, the open source library, is HTML to PDF. This is the main library, or the only library that's doing so. This library had a problem. When you try to create more than, I think, 10 pages or 20 pages, it didn't work. This is because they depend on the canvas, and canvas has limitation for the sizing. What I did, I just go to their repository, read the source code, and debugging and debugging and debugging until I found the problem. And also, I have introduced a PR fixing the problem, and it is PR 300. It was like, I think, 5 years ago, but they never merge it, unfortunately, because the package is no longer maintained. But this is how really you should contribute to open source. And instead of using it, also, you should fix it as well. Another challenging, when I came to work, the first task I had here in Turkey, there was using a framework called Meteor. If anyone knows Meteor, used Meteor before? It's an awesome framework. It is full stack framework that you write front end and back end in the same project. No other framework do this, but Meteor is dead now, I believe, because the idea didn't like a lot of people. But back when we would like to migrate a full working application from Meteor to a new framework, React, Vue, whatever. So it was a big challenge because this could take us years because it is a working project, and we cannot do this like this. So because I also read the source code of Vue.js, back then it was Vue 2, and I understand how it works and how we can manipulate it. I was able, with a lot of work, to make Vue.js communicate with Meteor.js with using like a middle bus between both of them. So what I was doing, I was migrating a component by component from Vue, this one, Vue, this one, Vue, while the rest of the page is still Blaze. And they were communicating with each other using internal bus. The project took me 2 years to fully migrate the whole project to Vue.js. After this, I left the company, after I removed the last line of Blaze. Okay. Current impact. Currently, I'm very busy. I don't have the time I had at the start of my project. So I'm not contributing to a lot of projects. My old projects are outdated, but I keep loyal to the open source. That's why I keep maintaining Vue 3 carousel. This is the most component that I was famous for. That's why I keep maintaining it. It has around 85,000 NPM downloads. I don't know why people trust me, but they look like there's a lot of people love the package. It has 830 stars, and also there's a lot of people who help me maintaining this package, including AI. I use Devin AI to help me sometimes to add the PRs and close some issues. Some people ask, okay, why should you spend your time instead of, let's say, build your own project, your side hustle, or do freelance? Why should you spend your time doing so? And Joker said it, if you are good at something, never do it for free. But he was wrong. The open source gave me, as I said, I deeply understand now a lot of things. And also, as I said before, I get my first, or not my first, actually, I get my first job in Turkey because of open source. And also, I have a better network because people communicate to you. And I believe everybody should see the benefits of doing work for free, because the more you give, the more you gain. And of course, 9,000 or firm. Key lesson learned. Not all the libraries will go viral. Not all the library will people love. You need to take care of your code. So you can start small. If you build like a component and feel, okay, I feel it, I can put it open source. So you can put it open source, but you should take care of the quality. And AI now help us very, very well. So anyone can audit his code using Claude Code, using Cursor, whatever. It will give you a lot of tips and tricks. Also documentation. Any project without good documentation, no one will use it. Believe me, you must have a very clear and good documentation. Otherwise, no one will use it. Engage with the user. A lot of people will open issues for you and ask a new feature and ask for changing the API, a lot of things. You cannot fulfill 100% of their needs. You can sometimes tell them to use the workaround. Sometimes you can fulfill their needs. Sometimes you can give us, hey, I will support this feature on X, maybe after 1 month. And sometimes you can ask them, can you make a PR for adding this feature because I'm busy? So this kind of engagement and managing the project will for sure make it success. And consistency. Consistency is the key. If you like do a one feature every year, no one will use your library, and it will be outdated and dead, like thousands and thousands of the libraries online. That was all from my end. Thank you all for listening. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Okay, sure.
You mentioned the idea of having a good documentation.
Yes.
How did this help you? Like usually we prefer to write code.
Yes.
And we say like documentation is a waste of time. So like, how did you handle that? And how did it help you?
Yeah, actually, because of my role now as a team lead, I work a lot with Google Sheets. I work with documents. I work with documentation. And believe me, writing a documentation is a technical skill you must learn, because it is not something you should skip. Now, when you create a new feature and I would like to present it to my team, I cannot say, hey, do this. No, you should prepare like, this is plan A, this is feature and advantage and disadvantage for this way, and plan B, this is feature and disadvantage. If you are not good at writing document technical analysis like this and documentation like this, you will not be able to manage the team or take the correct decision collectively with your team. So yeah, writing documentation is boring sometimes, but it's worth it eventually when you take the correct decision.
Can you say like it's senior like skill rather than a junior skill, or like does it move you from this junior to senior stuff?
Yeah. Every senior developer, in my opinion, must have knowledge on how to write documentation, and he must write a good documentation, because when you write documentation, you also understand the problems of your project. So, for instance, when I write documentation and how to use a carousel component, I sometimes find, yeah, it is very hard to be used like this. I should change the interface or the API to make it easier for people to use it. Or should I make this clear enough for people? And also you got a lot of issues. People does not understand this part, although you explicitly saying it is in the documentation like this. So the problem, maybe you didn't clearly show it, or it is not intuitive enough for people. So yeah, documentation is again, is maybe boring, but is a must skill. Thank you. Yes.
What are the methods that we can follow to publish it for people to use it? Are there any places or somehow things where we can publish it and see the number of downloads, etc. Where people also can contribute?
Yeah, first, most of the open source code are on GitHub, but sometimes people put it on GitLab as well. But yeah, as a start, you should go with GitHub, for example. And also you should publish it to package manager, NPM. You should learn how to publish a package on NPM so people can easily install them into their project. They are not going to copy paste it. Usually you are not doing this. You are doing pnpm install or npm install the package. So make sure your package also available on npm. And speak about it on Twitter, Reddit, on whatever platform you have. Join the community for this framework, Vue.js, React.js. Join the community. Hey people, I built this library. Would any people be interested in it? Try to market for it a little bit, and when people start to hear about it, it will go like this. It is like flywheel. You just do some effort at the beginning, and it will flow eventually. Cool. Any other questions? Sure. This is the biggest barrier for any developer to contribute in the, I'm afraid that people will not like my code. I'm afraid yeah. You can start by, so for instance, if you go to documentation and you found a typo, this is a very common thing. Most of people will ignore this typo, right? No, myself, I create a PR asking for fix those maybe 2 letters typo, and the maintainer of the repository can ask me, hey, I would like to do some enhancement. He can communicate with me. Either reject it, this is the worst thing, he will reject it. The best thing, he will merge it eventually, okay? By the way, when they released Vue.js 3, all people in the community was looking for typos so they can create PRs, so they can contribute. Their name will be listed in Vue.js 3. It is, and also in Hacktoberfest, please take an opportunity in the following October and join Hacktoberfest and try create 5 PRs for different projects. They usually, in the Hacktoberfest, they put list of projects that are willing for contributions. In my library, I also create some issues for features for people to implement. So I'm not doing everything. So if you go to one of the libraries online and you go to issues, you can find, hey, people complain about a problem. They will request a feature. You can start with this. Start public repository, go to issues, find a problem, find a feature, and start implement it. You will gain experience because it will be like a back and forth. You should do this, you should not do this. And you will learn a lot, and eventually they could accept it or not. But the next PR, they will accept it for sure.
Can you show us the Hacktoberfest?
Yes. Yeah, it's not available now because it is in October. But each year, powered by DigitalOcean and some partner, they will. I'm not sure. Yes, I have like 5 T-shirts from them now, but they don't give T-shirts anymore because I think of environment and stuff like this. Maybe stickers. I'll also. Yeah, I got a lot of stickers, a lot of T-shirts, but eventually you will get like a badge on GitHub and badge on dev.to. I have a lot of badges of those badges. So yeah, you can see I have a lot of Hacktoberfest badges here. This one. So yeah, it is like a good opportunity to start in the open source world. That's all from my end. Any last question, maybe, so you can go to next show. Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much.